Sometimes I don't feel like talking while I'm out shooting, and just focusing on my surroundings while searching for macro subjects can be a more immersive experience. I've only been to this specific location once before for macros. It's a beautiful park in the outer suburbs of Melbourne with massive gum trees and quite dense vegetation, which makes you feel like you're out in the bush away from the buzzing of the city. My initial plan was to try to fight some bull ants. Unfortunately, I wasn't successful this time, but I was very lucky to spot something amazing straight away. A rather large ant species belonging to the genus Rhytidoponera was carrying the elytra, the hard outer wing of a beetle. It's amazing how strong ants are in general. You can see how those massive pincers or mandibles were wrapped around that beautiful iridescent wing. The specimen was carrying it around on the bark with such ease, and it took me quite a bit of time to capture this series of shots, as it virtually never stopped moving. Let me know in the comments below which one you like the most. After finishing this series, I walked up to this large fallen tree trunk in the hope of finding something interesting, and I stumbled upon a small detached moth or butterfly wing. I'm not exactly sure. This first image contains 7 frames, which I stacked in Photoshop. I really love those tiny water droplets and the reflections of the moth scales, which made the largest droplet look like a frozen bubble. I wish I had taken a few more shots of the foreground for more optimal front-to-back sharpness. I also captured this second image at the maximum magnification, where I was focusing just on the largest water droplet at a lower angle. There were many fallen trees nearby, and my eyes caught some interesting fungi growing on the side of this giant tree trunk. The vibrant orange color of those tiny caps really made them stand out. I also took another 2 pictures, both of them stacked, consisting of 3 individual frames of another species that belongs to the genus Sterium. I especially like the simplicity and the abstract look of this last photo, with interesting shapes and textures across the frame. I also wanted to show you these 2 pictures of lichen that was growing on the surface of this quirky looking dead tree trunk that reminded me of an outdoor oven. There were a few Rhytidoponera ants foraging nearby, with one just standing guard in a little crevice with only its head and large antennae visible. I know that there are many ant species that have mutualistic relationships with fungi, but I wonder if any has interspecies association with lichens. I really love this last image, where you can see an extremely tiny ant at the bottom that was inspecting another large dead specimen. It would have been at least 20 times smaller than the Rhytidoponera in the middle. I also managed to grab one portrait of a mosquito that belongs to the genus Aedes, that is a virus vector, for example, for Japanese encephalitis, so it's better to stay away from them. In the middle of the road, I also stumbled upon a lacewing that was completely camouflaged and blended in with its background extremely well. I couldn't capture a more detailed stack shot at higher magnification because it was very skittish and flew away when I got close. I also captured a tiny whirligig that would have been only about 1mm in length. They are almost always on the go and only stop when they find something to eat or when they are preening. Our second last subject is a very small parasitoid wasp that I was tracking on the bark of a eucalypt, and it was moving around a lot as well, so I was happy that at least I grabbed these 2 portraits. I had never seen this particular species before. Those rear legs looked enormous. I left some abstract macros for last. I've always been drawn to interesting shapes, geometry and patterns, and that is what I like to capture when I shoot aerials as well. These images were all taken of inner and outer bark layers. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe if you love macro and nature photography in general, and see you all in the next one.